Hi, my name is Megan Ellison, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the IEP process and what parents can expect. So, I'm going to start off by talking about what the parent and student involvement is in the IEP process. So, basically, parents are considered equal partners with the IEP team, and they have the right to know every plan and meeting that takes place regarding their child. Parents have the biggest impact in determining where and how their child is taught, and the IEP team cannot change your child's placement without parents' consent. So, the IEP is based on something called the present level of academic achievement and functional performance. This is commonly known as PLOP, PLP, or some other acronyms. And in short, it basically means that they need to know how your child is doing now at that time so they can measure future progress. And parents play the biggest role in this because they can let the team know how your child functions at home. So that's really vital to the process. So every IEP process starts off with a referral, and that's the first step in order for a student to go through the process. This can come from a parent, a teacher, or another school personnel, and it's considered the school's responsibility to identify and evaluate students that could possibly have a disability. This is called child find. So they need to be keeping their eye out for that in case the parents don't know that there's a difference with their child and they don't know that their child might need extra help. The IEP referral should be done in writing, and it should be dated, signed, and copied. And that will be submitted directly to the principal, school psychologist, or the child's teacher. So that's how you get the referral and get the process going. Next is the evaluation of the student, and this is where an assessment is administered to determine whether the student has one of the 13 types of eligible disabilities, which I'll talk about in a minute. The assessment will measure areas of cognition, academics, and language skills, along with social, emotional, developmental, and medicinal findings. It is up to the IEP team to determine eligibility. The law is specifically written so that each IEP has the ability to qualify a student based on their individual needs. And the team must be in total agreement regarding eligibility. So at the evaluation, they decide what the next steps might be. And next would be eligibility. And this is where the IEP team has the ability to be flexible when determining whether a child qualifies for services. Criteria states that to qualify for special education services, a child must have one of the 13 disabilities as defined by IDEA, and the impact of the disability must create a need for services. So these 13 disabilities that I've been talking about are autism, blindness, deafness, emotional disturbance, hearing impairment, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, specific learning disability, speech or language impairment, traumatic brain injury, or visual impairments. So those are the 13 disabilities that qualify a student for modifications in their education plan or services, disability services. And components of the IEP. An IEP must contain the child's current level of academic achievement and performance, annual goals that the team, parents, and students set together, a description of how those goals will be met, a description of program modifications that will be put into place, along with individual modifications, an explanation of when and why the child should be separated from non-disabled classmates. The goal is to keep them together most of the time, but if there ever is a time where the plan calls for them being separated, it needs to describe when and the reasoning. And lastly, it needs to include a date for the beginning of those services. Lastly, we're going to talk about the expectations of ongoing communication between the teacher, school, and parent, and the responsibilities that a teacher has after the IEP is put in place. So there will be a quarterly monitoring to keep track of the student's progress and keep the parents in the loop of what is happening in class. And this will help to see if new methods are helping or hurting the child's education, and see if the plan that they devised is working for the student. And there's also a yearly meeting with the case manager, the teachers, and the parents to review how the year went and if the plan will be changing next year, put in place, evolving a little bit, or if everything was perfect that year. And teachers have a responsibility to keep note of how the student is doing in class and also honor those modifications that need to be made for this student to have a fair chance at succeeding. So I hope this helped get you a little more familiar with the IEP process and what to expect. Thank you for your time.